What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of Sharp Shorts. I guess I'm going to be bringing that back, more or less. Thank you, guys. Shout out to everyone who is watching. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you guys hit that like button. That is the most important metric in terms of the YouTube algorithm. That is the most important. That is the most important metric that YouTube uses. So I thank you to hit that. I thank you to hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate that. I'm more or less stalling a little bit just to make sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, Jared Atkins is in the house. Shout out to you, Jared Atkins. Good to see you guys in here. Okay, well, it shows that I'm streaming, but I can't really see it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway, so I'm all right. So Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim, you guys know that they are co-hosts of First Take. And, of course, you guys listen, man. I watch First Take every morning. I've watched it every morning for a while. Love Stephen A. Smith. Molly Qerim is actually good at her job for the most part. But every once in a while, and this seems to be happening much more frequently than it used to. Molly Qerim being just outright disrespectful to Stephen A. Smith. Now, it is tongue-in-cheek a lot of times. A lot of times they like to go back and forth. Molly Qerim actually has the same kind of dynamic with Shannon Sharp. They'll kind of go back and forth, and they're kind of joking around. They're kind of tongue-in-cheek with it. It's all in good fun for the most part. Well, lately, Molly Qerim has become more and more. She's become much more bold, so to speak, in terms of her interactions with Stephen A. Smith. And I apologize that I'm kind of stuttering here. I'm a little bit new at just doing random current events, et cetera. I know I'm stuttering my ass off, but I'm just not used to this kind of stuff. So you guys will have to excuse me. Usually during my normal podcast, I'm doing maybe 3 or 4 hours of prep, doing the research, so I know exactly what I'm doing. But it's gonna take me a little while to get used to, but I promise I'll get there. It is what it is. Anyway. So lately, I have noticed that Molly Qerim, and I'm sure you guys have too, shout out to Apollo on the Rumble side, I noticed that you guys have too, she's become increasingly disrespectful, and it all sort of culminated in this little interaction. Now, this actually happened today. I want to say this happened a little more than an hour ago. Of course, I rewound it and recorded it, so fair use, and this is not, it's 8 seconds, copyright and all that. But listen to this exchange. So, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and Molly Qerim, unfortunately, are discussing the woeful offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a JV offense. The reason why Russell Wilson is kept in check down is because he's been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL over the last 2 seasons. Justin Fields, superior athletically, but he can't seem to really handle the snap. We all saw that about a game and a half ago. So they're discussing the offensive woes of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Stephen A. Smith is a Steelers fan. I don't know why he is, but he is. Anyway, so that all culminated in this interaction between Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim. I want you to take a look and listen and watch the body language of Molly Qerim. Take a look.
It's a new offensive coordinator. Okay. Calm down.
Hold on. It's a new offensive coordinator. Calm down. Let me rewind that a little bit. And not only that, look how she points at him.
It's a new offensive coordinator. Okay. Calm down.
This is a woman telling a man it's a new offensive coordinator. Calm down. Now, Stephen A. Smith, every once in a while, he will clap back, but he'll do it sort of jokingly, right? And again, male instinct knows what disrespect sounds like and knows what disrespect looks like. Listen to Stephen A.'s immediate reaction.
Oh, hold on. That is very disrespectful, Molly.
See? There it is. That is very disrespectful, Molly. Watch this interaction again. Watch.
Okay.
Calm down.
Well, hold on. That is very disrespectful, Molly.
And so Stephen A. responds the way he normally responds. Tongue in cheek. You can tell this pissed off Stephen A. You can tell this pissed him off. Clearly he was pissed off. This is just his masculine instinct just kicking in. Stephen A knows that what Molly Qerim did just then is disrespectful. That's why he actually said, "That's very disrespectful, Molly." And so I think this is a microcosm of everything that's been going on at ESPN. For this woman to talk to this man like this,
It's a new offensive coordinator. Calm down.
this woman told this grown-ass man on his own show, calm down. And, the interesting thing is you guys remember, and of course you guys know that I do reactions to all kinds of videos. Lately, the No Fugazi podcast. We all saw the black woman, the stripper, whatever, getting all out of pocket, getting all in his face, putting his hands on him, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the reason why she was so bold as to do that is because she knows that if Cooley responds physically, he's going to jail for at least 72 hours, probably more, right? That woman knew that she couldn't put her hands on, that woman knew that man could not put his hands on her to do what was necessary to remove her from the premises. She knows this. Women know this. Women live in this protective bubble. American Western women live in this protective bubble where they can do and say anything to a man and not have to worry about the repercussions. Now, every once in a while, one of these women will F around and find out. And those are highly entertaining videos, to be sure. Please believe. Well, Molly Qerim and, of course, Joy Taylor over at FS1, they act in the same way. This woman, Molly Qerim, is essentially the girl from the No Fugazi podcast, and Stephen A. Smith is Cooley. This woman's sitting in front of him on national live TV telling him to calm down. Not only that, the reaction is not commiserate with the statement. Look at this one more time. Listen to this.
It's a new offensive coordinator. Calm down.
So, the way Molly Qerim just said it, calm down. She said it with an attitude. She has her hands out, and Molly Qerim is deadly serious. But look at Stephen A's reaction.
Hold on. That is very disrespectful, Molly.
That is very disrespectful, Molly. Do you see how he kind of takes the edge off of it? He has to be half kidding, because if he reacts the way he wants to, then Stephen A is out of a job. And Molly Qerim knows this. This is why she's becoming increasingly disrespectful. Like I said before, this is exactly to the letter. Just like a woman getting in a man's face, putting her hands on him, talking all kinds of crazy. Remember the one chick on Fresh and Fit actually called Myron's mother a B word. She said, "Your mama's a B word." Are you kidding me with this? Now, thankfully, she got out of pocket, and Icy and Melissa ended up beating her ass anyway and taking out her weave. So justice was served to a degree. But for that woman to call Myron's mom the B word and get away with it, that's absolutely crazy to me. The reason why she was so bold as to tell Myron, "Your mother's a B," is because she knows that if Myron responds in kind, Myron goes to jail. The out-of-pocket stripper knew that if Cooley had responded in kind, Cooley would be in jail. Well, Molly Qerim knows that if Stephen A responds in kind, not even physically, Stephen A is likely out of a job. You guys also remember, in the midst of this whole Ime Udoka scandal, where the world found out that Ime Udoka was smashing an executive's wife or whatever the case may be. This was a big story. I will never forget, and you guys probably remember this. I should have had this clip up. You guys should probably look it up on YouTube. Okay? Probably look it up on YouTube. Malika Andrews calls up Stephen A. Smith on his show and says, "Let's not blame this on the woman, Stephen A. Stop it." Now, Stephen A. checked her ass on that. He absolutely checked her ass on that. Now, that absolutely pissed him off. So much so that he actually checked her on the air. Whoa. Who the F do you... Now, he didn't say that, but he said in so many words, who the bleep do you think you're talking to? This is my show. You're not about to call up in here, 25, 26 years old, a boomer take, too big for your britches. You're going to call into my show and tell me to stop it? Oh, no. They probably squashed it. Off of the air. The point is that Malika Andrews, who is she is not even close to being as tenured as long as Stephen A. Smith, had the gall to call him up and say, let's not blame this on women or whatever she said. Stop it. It is incredible. It is incredible. Gentlemen, this is what happens when you let women into the conversation. Because now, listen, Stephen A. Smith is the biggest star at ESPN. First Take is the highest rated show that they've had for, 10, 12 years running, right? Obviously, Stephen A. Smith runs things. But now that we've let Molly Qerim in, she's starting to get more out of it. And of course, Kimberly A. Martin. Kimberly A. Martin is incredibly condescending. When she calls Dan Orlovsky, she calls him Daniel. She calls Stephen A. She just calls him. I mean, these women are, and again, it's funny the way they do it. They do it in such a way that makes it look like they're joking, and clearly they're not. Clearly they're not. Kimberly A. Martin is looking at Dan Orlovsky like, Daniel, that's not the way you read defenses. And I'm like, wait a minute. Dan Orlovsky played quarterback in the NFL. Yes, he is the member of a very infamous club, one of two players who ran out of the back of the end zone, the other being Jimmy Garoppolo, right? But Kimberly A. Martin is, even with Damian Woody, she will clap back and she will condescend in such a way that just makes you say, how in the world are they getting away with this? Well, it's because they are in this bubble. Women are allowed to say and do whatever it is they want to say and do around men and not have to worry about the consequences. It is absolutely crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me that this is still happening. Let me read some of your chats. Ken Rose, hang on a second. Ken Rose with the $2 super chat, or I'm sorry, the $2 Rumble rant. I appreciate that very, 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 very much. Apollo on the Rumble site says, man, it is looking bad for my Steelers. Oh my God. Yeah. Listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got all four of the AFC North teams got into the playoffs. That's not going to happen this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, it's like Swiss cheese, man. They're going to have to, honestly, the Steelers, they're going to have to win games this season on the back of that defense. They're going to have to win games this year on the back of that defense because you are dealing, oh my goodness, it is all bad in Pittsburgh, man. Like, and again, I say this a lot. Love Mike Tomlin, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, never had a losing season, but defensive coaches are becoming an endangered species. They really, really are. All of the best teams have offensive coaches. The San Francisco 49ers, they're perennial contenders. Kyle Shanahan, offensive coach. Nick Sirianni, for better or worse, he came into the league, offensive head coach. Sean McVay, down there in LA, offensive head coach. Now, we do have exceptions to the rule. DeMeco Ryans DeMeco Ryans was the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers when they had the best defense in the league. He got the job in Houston. He did the right thing and hired a good offensive coordinator. He just worries about the defense. He lets them take care of the offense. DeMeco Ryans he's young enough, I guess, and present enough to hire who he needs to hire. The point is that defensive head coaches are becoming an endangered species. Okay, so Dan Quinn got the job in Washington. This is what his second or third head coaching job. This is his last chance, man. And also, he replaced another aging dinosaur coach in Ron Rivera. Pete Carroll, defensive head coach out there in Seattle. He's out the door. Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest NFL head coach of all time, defensive head coach. He's up out of there, right? Raheem Morris took over for the Atlanta Falcons. He's best friends with Sean McVay, offensive head coach. Mike Tomlin is a defensive head coach, and if he doesn't watch it, man, he might actually find himself on the hot seat. Let's see. Let me. I'm Labib says, I grew up in Moon Township. Now I live in North Carolina. I'm sorry. Yes, and Dan Orlovsky was on an 0-16 team. Yes, I remember the 0-16 Lions. Black Lemur 2009 says Molly ruined First Take. I wouldn't necessarily go that far yet. I wouldn't say that Molly has ruined First Take. I will say at this point that Molly Qerim is ruining First Take. Listen, man, Molly Qerim is paid to sit there, look pretty, and direct the show. But all of a sudden now, she's getting all of this positive. Listen, sweetheart, Molly Qerim, here's what we think. Here's what we think about your takes.
We don't care.
Thank you, Stephen A. We don't care about your takes. We don't. Okay, you're a Giants fan. You're a good-looking woman. You're a Giants fan. Sit there, close your mouth, and direct the show. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about your opinions. These women on these sports podcasts, they think the guys watching care about your opinions. We don't care. We don't care about Kimberly A. Martin's opinions. We don't care about Monica McNutt's opinions. We don't care about, oh my God, we definitely don't give a damn about Mina Kimes' opinion. Dude, Mina Kimes is as dumb as a $2 bill. Like, what the hell is she even doing on the show? Nope. Molly Qerim thinks that because she's there that we must also want to listen to her opinion. No, Tell her, Stephen A.
We don't care.
We don't care. Jared Atkinson says Molly is pretty unbearable at times. Yes, and she's a woman, and she's always she always interrupts. Like when Stephen A. and Shannon are going back and forth, she feels the need to interject while everybody. It's bad. Black Lamer 2009 says she's unbearable all the time. All right, well, I guess we'll agree to disagree. She's pretty. I don't know, man. She might be. Listen, she is unbearable. Listen, I can't argue with the fact that she's unbearable all the time. Like it's getting pretty crazy. It's getting pretty crazy. T-Law says trying to stay professional. Attention spam says rumor has it that he is clapping her. Bro, that's old news. Like, dude, Molly's been smashing. Dude, Stephen A's been smashing Molly, bro. Yeah, he's been smashing her for a while. We already knew what it was that. Lou Alberto says he clapping shouty though. Yeah, we got it. Phoenix Light Games with the $10 super chat says this is the unfortunate risk of allowing women into men's spaces. They know they are protected and will take advantage of that. Deplorable behavior, Molly L. Vaughn says, duh bears. Jared Atkinson said the original host of First Take was the best, and I don't even know who that was. Molten Mage Gaming says that's true. Brandon Staley had an offensive juggernaut with the Chargers and still found a way to go 5-12. Yes, Brandon Staley, defensive head coach. Guys, I'm telling you, you should really, really root for your team to hire offensive-minded head coaches. Okay, go out and hire offensive-minded head coaches. If you're because offensive-minded head coaches, they have a better idea in terms of how offenses run. We are seeing offensive ineptitude in Pittsburgh, man. It's like I'm telling you, the Steelers looked terrible, and they're playing against 2s and 3s. They're not even playing. They're not even really playing against starters. Apollo on the Rumble site says, I know Skip Bayless is out the door at FS1. I like how Undisputed no longer had a female host on the show. I hope First Take follows suit. Here's another observation. You guys all know I love Colin Cowherd the Herd. I'm actually watching him right now. And I've talked about this before. When Colin Cowherd first moved over to FS1, because I covered that exit because of what he said about Dominican people and Jose Bautista and all that, actually wrote an article about it on Return of Kings. It dropped on July 25th of 2015. God damn, my memory is unbelievable. Anyway, so Colin comes over to FS1 and he has a co-host for the first time, Christine Leahy. Beautiful blonde girl. She was out of pocket from day one. She thought that she was there to give her opinion, right? She was an abject dumpster fire. She had a dust up with LeVar Ball. It was just ridiculous. So finally, they replaced her with Joy Taylor. Christine Leahy had another show on FS1, which lasted for about 15 minutes. She's out the door. I don't even know what the hell she's up to. Who cares? Doesn't even matter. So then they replaced her with Joy Taylor. Now, in the beginning, Joy was the perfect co-host. She was paid to look good, report the facts, give the herd line news, blah, 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 blah. There was a little bit of back and forth in terms of maybe, every once in a while, Joy Taylor would give a little bit of her opinion, but all she really was there to do was just report the facts and have, friendly banter with Colin Cowherd. No problem. But as time went on, Joy Taylor became increasingly opinionated. And before long, it got to the point to where she was so out of pocket all the time, the fans said, hey, we don't get Joy off the show. Of course, Colin being hard-headed. No, I'm gonna leave her on the show and da da da. Okay, well, guess what happened? Ratings tanked. They fucking tanked. So what did they do? They moved Joy Taylor over. Over to Speak, where she is. Oh my God, she is insufferable over there. I don't know how Acho and Shady even deal with her. She is. Anyway, Colin Cowherd now brings in a male co-host, Jason McIntyre, and the show's ratings have never been higher. The show's ratings have never been higher. So again, this just goes to show this is a male space. Men want to hear the opinions from other men. Listen, if I want to hear someone's opinion on how to birth a baby, I'll watch a woman, okay? But I'm not interested in Kimberly A. Martin's analysis on the 3-4 defense in Pittsburgh, okay? I don't give a shit what Molly Qerim thinks about the Cleveland Browns' #1 overall defense. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Tell her again, Stephen A.
We don't care.
Yeah, it's unfortunately Stephen A. can't really react like that. Let's watch this one more time for those.
It's a new offensive coordinator. Calm down.
Calm down. Calm down. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Phoenix Light Games with another $10 super chat says, the reason why she interjects when Shannon and Steven are having a conversation is because she wants the attention back on her. She feels left out. I've seen her face when she wants to say something. That is, man, I'm going to Don DeMarco you for that. I'm going to Don DeMarco you for that. Yeah, that absolutely makes perfect sense. It's incredible. Like, she thinks that the audience is there to watch her. They're not. Molly, you are paid to look good and direct the show. We don't care about your opinion. So yes. So of course, I mentioned earlier, I forgot who the first host of First Take. Now, First Take, the show First Take has evolved over the years. I think it used to be called Cold Pizza, and it was hosted and co-hosted by Dana Jacobson. Shout out to Jared Atkinson and Jay Crawford. So Dana Jacobson and Jay Crawford, they used to host this Cold Pizza. And as a matter of fact, I think Skip Bayless used to make appearances there too. Over the years it evolved. At some point, it became First Take. It was Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. Well, of course, Skip Bayless ended up going over to FS1, doing the show Undisputed with Shannon Sharp. And then, of course, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and Molly Qerim. To me, when Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and Molly Qerim, that was the golden age of First Take. That was the golden age of First Take. Molly Qerim stayed in pocket. She directed the show. Max Kellerman, Stephen A., it was all good. Now, of course, Max Kellerman, he's an SJW, whatever, right? But over the years, since Max Kellerman has left the show, Molly Qerim has continued to display this kind of attitude. Calm down. Incredible. Incredible. Omar says it was Carrie Champion. Yes. Oh, yeah, I do remember Carrie Champion. 9 Lives 210 says, Don, do you remember when LeVar Ball checked her? Not only do I remember that was on my first YouTube channel. This was episode, I'm pretty sure that this was right after episode, I want to say 17. I remember that because I talked, this is before I showed my face on YouTube, so I talked about it. I released just a video or just an audio video on YouTube, got like 28,000 views. It was the highest viewed video of all time on my channel at that time. It was unbelievable. So yes, I do remember that. Weaponry Fitness says, in my opinion, Jenny Taft was the best host. Maybe. Deshiznit 702 says, I'm hoping Sean Payton can repeat the offensive magic in Denver with Bo Nix these next years. Guys, I think that Bo Nix is a low-key candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You heard it here first. Let's see. Arkham Knight says, who remembers the, quote, you can switch gears with me anytime quote from a LeVar Ball and hasn't been back since, but years ago was practically bending over in front of Terrell Davis with the football. I have no idea what the hell that means. Like, come on, Arkham Knight. What are you doing, dude? Jesus Christ. I mean, I swear, there's always a clown in here doing that. Let's see. Yep, Crazy Imaginal says he could not check her because he is on ESPN. That's exactly right. Money Mitch says, I miss Carrie Champion. Well, that makes one of you. Carrie Champion is absolutely insufferable. Frank Casilla says, Molly is only nice to look at, but horrible to listen to. Eben Zuer says, checking in. 9 Lives 210 says, Don, why can't women just sit there and be humble? Well, because they want the attention. That's why. Arkham Knight says, we all remember Molly adding her 2 cents during the Deshaun Watson frivolous case of the so-called victim. She was mad as hell because he got that huge contract from the Browns. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. Allord 3000 says, remember when Cam Newton got in trouble for laughing when a female reporter tried to talk to him about running routes? Yes, I remember that too. Jared Atkinson says, I still think the golden age is when it was Skip and Stephen A. You want to know something? I stand corrected, Jared. I think you're right. I think the golden age of First Take was the original. Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. That format was so good. That literally spawned off the genre. Benny Negro from Queen says, Black Red Pill community is like a community between two worlds. I mean, listen, I don't know what that means. Dre Day says that happened on NFL Network. I mean, I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has plenty of times. All right, guys. Well, listen. Great discussion. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Later today at 1:00 p.m. At 4:00 p.m. Eastern, 1:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be going in on the quote unquote mostly peaceful Latinas. Linda, I've already forgotten her name. What's her name? Linda something or other. What is it? Linda Catalina. Linda Catalina. Of course, listen, she's a bitch that just calls people broke. She calls them broke peasants all the time. I actually made an appearance on Saucecast remotely, and she was there with her rotund friend, and she says, "You're broke, you're blah 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 blah." Well, it turns out that Linda Catalina is actually broke, as she has run up nearly $26,000 in credit card debt. So I'm very, very much looking forward to cooking her rotund hindquarters. I'll just put it to you like that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.